Hello everyone, it's Cherie. This is my July 2024 wrap-up, and I'm doing a COVID test right now. You can probably hear the congestion. Yeah, so anyway, I had put in for some vacation time. I was taking a week off, which was 10 days total. And during that time, I was going to work really hard on the 99% breakdown, and I was going to make 3 videos, 2 for this channel, 1 for the 99% channel. Well, on the first day of my vacation, I came down with a cold. I think it's a cold. Pretty sure it's a cold. It usually takes me about 10 days to get over a cold. Right now we're on day 8. But my mom came down with it as well, and her friends are worried it might be COVID. So I went to the store today and bought COVID test. So this was the reagent stuff. It's on the other thing processing. So we'll see. If it turns out it's positive for COVID, then we'll have to test my mom. All right, books I've read. So I did finish The Parable of the Sower, the novel. There were some differences between the novel and the graphic novel, but they were both good. I read Odd Magic by Patricia A. McKillip. I might have mentioned that in my last video. I don't know. I didn't rewatch it before I did this. But I really was charmed by that one. And Roadside Picnic. Now that is the novel that inspired the Tarkovsky film Stalker. And it was actually, the screenplay for Stalker was written by the 2 guys that wrote the novel Roadside Picnic. I loved Roadside Picnic. It's a sci-fi novel about basically aliens came to Earth, left a bunch of trash, and went away. And so all these zones where the aliens landed are kind of like radioactive. And so these people called stalkers go in and retrieve some of the artifacts, and a lot of people die doing it. And it's just fascinating. And I personally didn't really enjoy Stalker, the movie, but if I saw a movie version of Roadside Picnic, I think I'd really enjoy it. I think it's a great story. 2 lines. Yep, positive. My mom doesn't want to take the COVID test right now. I'm pretty sure that's what she's got. She never gets a cold. What else? Okay, so last month I also did another Jeff Howard first impression session. And that's where you give him the first 10 pages of a script and he reads it not knowing the title or who wrote it, and he just goes over it. So I sent him Dumpster Donna. So these are the notes he wrote. He shrinks it down and then writes notes in the margins, and that's me printing off what he did. But basically, overall, he liked it, and he said the dialogue was really good. And yeah, so I was pretty happy. So what I'm going to do is go through the whole script, insert these changes, and then go through the entire script, making sure all the paragraphing is correct and stuff, because it's probably a longer movie than the page count I currently have, because I don't do my paragraphings that well, or I didn't until I started working with Jeff Howard. So when that is all done, then I'm going to research companies who do like environmental type movies, because this script is really about saving the planet with the recycle, reuse, rinse and repeat, the other R, I can't remember. That kind of thing. I mean, the whole thing is Donna goes into this profession which is all about consumerism, and then by being in New York, she learns that, maybe that's not the right path, and then she finds a new path to pursue. So it's a really important script. It's a script I love. It starts off one place and it goes to a totally different place, so you're not expecting it. I don't think anyone has seen these turns in the stories before, but it all works, So I'm just really excited about Dumpster Donna. I really hope someone else gets excited and wants to buy it. That's the whole thing. I want to sell the script, and it's, it's important, but it's a fun script. A spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. Thank you, Richard Sherman. So June was my birthday month, and I spent my birthday at the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. So of course I had to ride the Giant Dipper. It turned 100 this year, and it was, oh my gosh, I just love that ride so much. We did try to find who to talk to in order to see if we could shoot for the 99%, because there's one shot after our main character goes to Santa Cruz to see if she can afford to live there. She can't. She and her friend ride the Giant Dipper, and she's all like, upset, on the Giant Dipper, and he's all like, ah. So we're trying to figure out how to shoot that, because in the old days for roller coasters, you'd have these giant rigs, like a whole cart in front of the actors. Now we could probably do it with like a GoPro, and I was thinking something maybe attached to the wrist, of the person, like my cinematographer in front, and maybe it would hit it. I don't know. But anyway, they said you have to go online and contact and all this. So also for my birthday, that Sunday, my friend Tom took me to Berkeley, and we visited a sake brewery, and it was really great. They did a whole show, and it was very informative, as they were giving us each sake to sample, and it was very fun. And then we ate at a nice little tapas restaurant, and we bought dessert ice cream at this Mediterranean bakery, kind of like grocers. It was so good. Oh, and the other thing I got for my birthday, a 1-year subscription to the Criterion channel. Okay, and maybe you guys don't even know that exists. So I was able to find most of the rest of the list for the Harvard PhD film list on the Criterion channel. I have like 200 movies in my watch list now. The first movie I watched was Beau Travail, which is a movie I'd wanted to see forever, and it was lovely. I loved it. A French movie. I rewatched Daisies, which is a Czechoslovakian film, which is really just fabulous. Oh, and then I also watched The Harder They Come from Jamaica, which I'm trying to watch a movie from every country, and that was the one that I had needed from Jamaica. So, yeah. I love the Criterion channel. It's going to be like my best friend for a year. Now, if you go for a year subscription, it's $99. If you go for a monthly subscription, it's $10 a month. So the year subscription for, $100 is the best thing. Let's talk about the Harvard list and where I am. I got to the page 2 out of, 7 pages? So finished page 1, saw those except for the electrocuting the elephant one, which I talked about already. And now I'm down to number 60, which is the Saga of Gersta Berling. I've started watching it on the Criterion channel. I'm enjoying it, but I'm not going to talk about it really, except for right now. It was Greta Garbo's first lead role in a feature film. And other than that, I want to talk about a few of my favorites off this list. So on the Harvard PhD recommended film list, I have still been in the black and white silent era. It's not until I get to number 75 that I will hit the jazz singer. And I haven't seen that one. That's for some reason. A lot of the movies I had already seen in film classes. They are getting longer now. They're not the shorts. There were 2 series. One was called Fantomas and one was called Les Vampires. And they were both crime series made in France by the same filmmakers. They each had an animal killing in one of the episodes, which I did not appreciate. But other than that, they were very well done. I preferred Les Vampires. And there's actually a movie on Criterion right now called Irma Vep, which harkens back to that series, Les Vampires. So I need to watch Irma Vep. Also, there was Charlie Chaplin's The Immigrant, which is one of my favorites. I'm going to recommend that one. So for the series, I'll recommend Les Vampires. And for a movie, I will recommend The Immigrant. I will also recommend The Blot, which was by Lois Weber. She was the first American female film director. And so she went on to make a bunch of like socially conscious kind of movies, my kind of woman. And the one I watched was called The Blot. And it was basically about how people live in poverty with inadequate salaries, especially the teachers who teach the children of the wealthy. And that was like a blot on society where, you know, we can't even pay our teachers well enough. So I really loved it. I definitely recommend The Blot. I saw a couple of epics. So there was one from Italy called Cabiria. I think it was 3 hours. And it had the very first tracking shot. People usually think Intolerance had the first tracking shot, but Cecil B. DeMille was actually inspired by the tracking shot he saw in Cabiria. I saw Intolerance for the first time. Not my cup of tea necessarily. Another long epic taken within 3 time periods. If you want a silent 3-hour epic, go for Cabiria. And then I saw 2 Erich von Stroheim movies. Erich von Stroheim was the butler Max in the movie Sunset Boulevard. And in the old days, he was a director. And so I saw 2 movies he directed. One was called Foolish Wives, and the other was called Greed. Now, Greed's the one I'd always heard about, like his masterpiece, his epic. Like it was originally 9 hours, but you can't find that version anywhere. It's 2 hours now. I didn't enjoy it. It's based on a novel called McTeague, A Story of San Francisco. And to me, I did not like both of the main characters. And so it's hard for me to watch something when I don't like someone. I think if he had cast himself as the male lead, I might have liked it because he's a great actor. But the guy he cast, it looked like he was wearing a wig that Harpo marks or Zappo marks, the one with the horn, you know, the blonde guy. That's what his hair looked like. As I do that, my hair gets all gross. Okay. And so it was just hard to watch and kind of take seriously. And I just didn't like the people. And so, however, Foolish Wives, Erich von Stroheim was also the lead in that one. And that was a great story. And the sets were great. The costumes, I loved it. So definitely recommend Foolish Wives. All right. Now we're on the final recommendation. It's called Sherlock Jr. It's by Buster Keaton. And it's a wonderful movie. This guy is trying to solve a mystery. He thinks he's some kind of like Sherlock Holmes person. And most of it's in a dream state where he's thinking of all these great things he's doing. His physical comedy is so great. He and Chaplin were wonderful. And it's just amazing. You're watching and going, whoa, how did they do that back in those days? And that's why I want to segue from there into a movie that was made 100 years after Sherlock Jr. So Sherlock Jr. was released in 1924, and Hundreds of Beavers came out in 2024. And it's a silent black and white movie with lots of physical comedy. They go together. It's like it'd be a great movie night combination. Start off with Sherlock Jr. and then watch Hundreds of Beavers. And it's amazing. It's kind of got almost a video game mentality because basically this guy who's an Applejack farmer, I guess, gets too drunk and these beavers come and they take away the big Applejack barrels. And the guy wakes up and he's alone in the wilderness and he has to learn to survive in the wilderness. If you have a library card, you can watch it for free on Hoopla. So that's my recommendation from the Harvard list, Sherlock Jr., and from today, Hundreds of Beavers. All right, and then I'm just going to wrap up now. My friend that I went to the sake brewery with, so he helped me find some additional movies that I couldn't find that weren't on the Criterion Channel. One of them is Napoleon, a 5.5 hour long black and white French silent film. And I was kind of hoping that that's one that I couldn't find, so I wouldn't have to watch it because it sounds really tedious. Well, I'm gonna, just watch it in parts, like a mini series or something, because I cannot watch 5.5 hours of a silent black and white film all at one time. These other ones like the Cabiria, it was great, but no, not all at one time. Thank you for watching all the way to the end, and hopefully I'll have a lot more good information for you coming up and in next month's recap. Thanks for joining me. Bye.
Oh yeah, here we go.